Hi, I'm Chris Ryan, down here at the Belfry Golf Centre, and we're in the TaylorMade Performance Room, and we're going to be looking at the posture in this video, and I'm going to give you 3 key things that you can focus on to ensure you start your golf swing in good posture. Also, in the corner of the screen, you should have details for my Facebook, my Twitter, and my Instagram. Please make sure you go ahead and follow me on those as well. Right, so we're talking about posture, and we're going to give you, say, 3 things that you can look at or assess in your own posture to see whether you're starting from the right areas. Starting in good posture is key because the body has to move in a certain way, and we generate a lot of our power and our speed in our golf swing through our body. Therefore, if we don't position it correctly, it's going to rob us of power and it's going to rob us of speed, and it's effectively going to make the game a little bit more difficult. So we're going to look at 3 areas. We're going to look at the hips, we're going to look at the upper back and the shoulders, and we're going to also look at a little bit of balance. And I say, just going to give you things that you can maybe go ahead and check. And you don't need to be at a golf course or drive range for this. You can do this at your home or your office. And it's certainly things that we want to keep on top of, because unfortunately posture is not something which is set and then it's good forever. It's something we have to keep checking and we have to keep on top of. So the first thing we're going to look at is we're going to look at the hips or the pelvis. Now, when the ball is on the ground, as it is, even when it's teed up, it's only a couple of inches off the ground, we have to sort of set our body into a good angle in order for us to be able to hit that golf ball near the ground. It would be a very, very different game if the golf ball was up at eye level and we could stand vertically. But as I say, the ball's on the ground, therefore there has to be some tilt or bend. And that is where we're going to start with the pelvis. I want you to make sure, and this is point number 1, that your hips or your pelvis is tilted correctly at setup. So, how are we going to do that? Well, very, very simple drill. What I want you to do is just stand normally. Feet shoulder width apart, so the sort of distance you would be for a normal golf swing. Take the golf club and place the grip end onto the button of your trousers, or in this case, my belt buckle. Take your left hand and extend it down onto the metal, so it's around about 2 to 3 inches down from the grip. Now, from here, if we were to try and achieve good posture and get into a position where I could hit the golf ball, there are 2 ways I can do this. I can keep my hips and my pelvis pretty level, and I can start to curve my back and bend my back over. That now feels like I could reach the golf ball, but you'll notice how my left arm is bent and the golf club hasn't really moved at all. What we would rather do is feel that we reach the golf ball by tilting the pelvis forward. Therefore, I am able to keep my lead arm straight. You'll notice how my golf club has moved down and my back has effectively stayed straight. So I'll just do those 2 again for you. So this would be where I bend the back, pelvis doesn't move, and the correct one would be where we tip from the pelvis, and that allows me to keep my back pretty straight, and it certainly puts my hips and my pelvis on an angle. That is exactly what we want to try and do. So it's really important that we understand how this pelvis should be at setup. Now, another good little way of doing this would be to try and go into the sort of starting position that we are requiring you to be in, and then move towards the 2 extremes that we want to try and avoid. So one where the pelvis is tucked under, and the other one where it's too extreme in the opposite direction. So let me go through that process and do the good one. So I'm going to do this little process. I'm going to get my pelvis into a good angle. I'm just going to let myself set up. So from here, what I want to try and do is give myself a good feeling of the 2 incorrect ones. So one where I took my pelvis under, and you'll notice that's given me a very, very different look to my setup, certainly a more rounded back, and my sort of backside looks a little bit more tucked under. So back to normal. And then also we're going to go through the other one where we tip the pelvis too much, and you'll probably see that also looks quite different. That looks like I've got quite a big arch in my lower back. So we want to make sure we're not sort of working towards those 2 extremes. The second one there, where I had the arch in the back, that's a little bit less common. We would tend to see more golfers with the hips and the excuse me, the pelvis tucked under a little bit more, and this roundness look to the back. So make sure we're not doing that. Really, really simple drill. Club on your belt buckle, tip from the hips, let the club drop. So that's our first point. Second thing we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about the upper body, so the back and the shoulders. Now, I want you to make sure that your chest is open, okay? We've got our shoulders nicely back, and we're feeling that we squeeze our shoulder blades together at the back. I do see lots of golfers where, let's say they've got their pelvis into a good position, nicely angled, but they still have a roundness from the back here, where the shoulders work too much in. And again, this tends to be a little bit more of a comfort thing. I want you to feel that you're pulling your shoulders back, almost to the point where you're squeezing your shoulder blades together. We should have our shoulders set back naturally, not forwards. But again, as we reach a golf which is on the ground and our arms go to that golf club, these shoulders often come forwards. So we've got a good pelvis tilt. I want you to now feel that from setup, you're just going to tweak the shoulder blades back a little bit and feel like the shoulders sit a little bit more level with your chest instead of in front of your chest. So in that position there, and now I have good posture where my hips are on a good angle and my shoulders on a good angle. That brings us to our third point. We're now talking a little bit about balance. We've got our sort of hips and our shoulders and our back in a good position, but we need to be in good balance if we're going to make an effective golf swing. So I want you to think about your shoulders, and I want you to think about the back of your shoulders. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my starting position, and I'm just going to take this golf club and I'm just going to hang it from the back of my shoulder. So you can see that's a vertical line down there. Now, as I change my balance points, I want you to see where that line would hang relative to my feet and my knees. So if I sit a little bit too much into my heels, you're going to notice that line hangs back of my kneecaps, and it also hangs a little bit more towards the heel of my foot. If I go a little bit too much weight on the toes, you'll notice that the golf club now hangs a decent amount in front of my kneecaps and certainly almost through the tips of my toes, almost through the end of my shoes. We want to try and find a nice balanced position where that line hangs just in front of your knees and therefore it's just forward of middle of your foot, so maybe where the toes start, and that's going to give me good balance. Now you'll notice that as I go through those three positions, I can have those three positions all with a pretty good sort of spine or hip position. So there's nothing to stop us putting the pelvis in the right position, getting the shoulders nice, but we can be very much out of balance before we even make our golf swing. So this is quite a nice little drill to do. Hold the golf club there and just find that point where we want that club to be. So just in front of the knees, that to me feels pretty good. That should feel to you as if you're quite lively, you're ready to make an athletic move, which hopefully we're going to do in the golf swing, and that is really what we're after. So we're not really talking about setup here, because setup would maybe cover things like width of stance and ball position. We're talking about how to position the body ready to make a golf swing. And it's really important that we get that body sort of prepped, if you like, to do the task at hand, which is effectively to move this golf club at a fair amount of speed around your body to try and propel that ball. It's quite an athletic move if done correctly. Therefore, we need to start in an athletic position to enable us to do it to our best ability. Right, let me go ahead and hit a couple of shots. I'm obviously going to try and get those things all correct. So hit my target out there, which is, I'll go for the 250 marker. I've only got 7 iron, so I'm not going to get anywhere near it. But I'm just going to go, right, hips and pelvis are on a good angle, shoulders are back, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and I'm just going to feel now that my balance points are good, and I feel nice, athletic, good balance, and I can go ahead and hit it. I've been pretty happy with that. I'll just show you another one so I can show you from a slightly different angle. I'm just going to go for a different target now. I'm going to go for that 200 marker up on the right. Same feelings, good balance, hips are good, shoulders are good. I can go ahead and make my golf swing from there. And again, I'll be pretty happy with that. So check your posture, it's really important. It's going to help you move the body in the correct way, which in turn is going to help you move the golf club in the correct way, and that can only be really good for better shots and lower scores. So 3 things to make sure your posture is good. Check those 3 things. You say you can do it at home, you can do it in the office. Once you get it right, take it to the range, take it to the course, and hopefully you'll play some better golf, hit some more enjoyable shots, and that's definitely going to up your enjoyment of the game. Right, thank you very much for watching. Usual things down below, comments box, like button, and also a link to subscribe to my channel. Please make sure you do that because it really does help me. Right, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you again next time.